Hello, we warmly welcome you to Remote Health. Today in this video, we're going to be showing you some helpful tips to perform partner massage. So partner massage has so many benefits. It's a great way for us to be able to connect with our family and friends. So one of the things that we want to make sure that we're taking care of, first and foremost, is ourselves, and then of course the person that we're doing the massage on. So how can we do that? First of all, one of the main challenges I hear is that people feel like they get fatigued very easily when they're doing partner massage. So how can we sidestep this? A great way is to be able to use our upper body weight. So when we're working on someone, we want to make sure that their back is totally accessible to us. So a great way to do that is to have the person that we're working with sit down in a chair, and then we can actually have them fold their arms like this and place their forehead right on their forearms, and then they're going to place their forearms on a table or desk in front of them, and then we would stand behind. Obviously this gives us access to the whole back, and it also allows us to be able to use our body weight as a way to intensify the massage. Of course, we can also perform partner massage on a mattress or a bed, and once again we want to remember as we're moving to make sure that we use our upper body weight. Sometimes people get caught up in trying to use their hands, and that's great. However, if we keep our hands stable and just use them as a tool, our upper body weight will really move us through the pressure. Another thing we want to do is we want to make sure we're breathing, and we want to make sure we're hydrated. Now, we've talked a little bit about how we can take care of ourselves. How can we take care of the person we're working on? First of all, we want to make sure that they're open to receiving massage. Secondly, we want to be able to check in and communicate. So ask them what areas are sore or tight and what areas need a little extra attention. If at any time they feel uncomfortable during the massage, feel free to stop and explore how you can better support them. We are really using this as an opportunity to bond to the person we're working with. So take it as that and use this as an opportunity to learn. All right, so welcome. We've got our partner in the perfect spot for us to begin our massage. One of the things we want to do first is to warm up the back. We want to create some blood flow going there. And a great way to do that is with some compression strokes and stretching. So we're just going to use our upper body weight, and we're just going to apply some pressure here. And feel free, if we're getting to know our partner, to check in with them and see how they're doing and how the pressure is. And then we can just slowly walk our way backwards. And then we can do a really nice stretch here by placing our hand on the hip and then our other hand on the shoulder here and just doing some pressure. And we want to make sure that our hands are moving away from each other, down towards the floor. And then we'll do that on the opposite side as well. And then we're just going to work our way back up. Now, an area that is super common for people to experience tension is right here in our shoulder blades. So we want to be able to access the muscle tissue underneath the scapula. So how can we do that? Well, a great way for us to do that would be to lift the hand, and we're going to place it right here on the hips. And we want to let our partner know that they can relax this arm. They don't need to hold it up for us. And so we can also assist them if we need to, just by placing our hand here, or we can even put our leg underneath here. And then we can move our hands right over here, and we'll notice that this whole scapula bone is now raised. So we can use the side of our hand and just create some nice pressure strokes there. Once again, we're going to be using the weight of our body. Now, as we're working in here, we might notice that there's something that feels maybe tight or ropey, and so we can actually do a more intense pressure with our thumbs here. And once again, we're just going to be using our whole body weight to access that. And then we can want to do the same thing on the other side. So we want to have a really nice flow to our massage. So doing something like this, a transition stroke, is really great to just keep everything connected. Now, another area where people experience a lot of tension and stress is on the top of your shoulders, right here in the traps. And so what we can do is we can use our forearms to access this area, and we're just going to apply some light pressure there. And then we're going to work our way around the tops of the shoulders. And then of course we're going to do that however many times is necessary on both of these strokes to relieve any tension and stress. Another great thing we can do is we want to create some friction in the body. So we can do some light, gentle rocking. When we do this, we're sending a signal from the toes all the way to the head that it's time to release. It's time to let the body just fall into the mat. So another area that's really common is our neck to have tension. And we're going to want to work in this area here in her neck. A great way that we can do this without experiencing too much fatigue is to create a C with our hands, and then we're just going to slide this right underneath the neck and then pull up. So what we're doing is, instead of using the strength in our hands, we're actually using her own body weight to relieve some of the tension in her neck. So we're just going to let that roll, let our fingers roll all the way up her neck. And then you'll notice when you get towards the head, there's a nice little part of the skull that curves out, and that's called our occipital ridge. It actually creates a perfect ledge for us to slide our fingers underneath and then create a really nice stretch. So we'll just let her experience that stretch. One of the things that's also really helpful when we're working on someone on the floor is that there's not a lot of softness underneath. So for instance, when we're working on a mattress or a bed, there's almost some resistance that comes up because it gives. So let's say we wanted to do some more work underneath the shoulder blades. Well, we can simply slide our hands underneath and then do some extra work there if our partner requires more intensity in their massage. Now, a great way to finish up partner massage is to massage the scalp. And it just is relaxing, and it creates blood flow there, and it feels amazing. So if you feel comfortable, you can also rotate and then get right underneath, and you can also access more of the muscles in the neck that way. Okay, so these are just a few strokes to get you started. Feel free to explore with your partner and to use these strokes on other areas of the body. Thank you so much for joining us here on Remote Health.